to Lesson 20 of Doodling with Purpose, learning hieroglyphics from home. This week we are going to do a little rowing. We're going to have a little love for our bovine friends, the common Egyptian cow. Okay, well, maybe not so common, but you'll see why in a moment. I feel bad for this cow. I do. And we're also going to go deep dive into the Nile, and we're going to look at some Egyptian fish, because obviously with the Nile running down the center of Egypt, fish were a huge part of everyday life in Egypt, and they're going to actually pop up a few times in hieroglyphics. We're just lucky this is the first time we've gotten to fish, but there's more coming. All right, before we jump in, a reminder that since hieroglyphs are written on stone walls, they could go left to right or right to left. You always read into the face of the animal, if you will. So as you are practicing and doodling with purpose, be sure that not only you practice writing them from left to right, but also once you've mastered sort of the left to right version of the animals, that you also practice writing them in the opposite direction so that the animal is facing to the right, like this. Same glyph, same shape, but just facing the opposite direction. It's the same exact, I guess, way you're going to draw it, with the owl here starting with the head, if you go back to the lesson where we did the owl, but you should practice doing it both ways. That's the best way to master hieroglyphics because you're going to see them written both ways, depending on where the wall was. All right, time for review. As we do each week, we're going to look at the glyphs that we drew last week and a quick reminder of the correct way to draw them, because drawing them correctly really is the key to learning hieroglyphs. Otherwise, you get stuck. All right, so last week we did the stick, starts with a line, a curved line, and then two short lines. Next, we have the hill with a sunset. So you draw your hill, two diagonal lines up, and connect them for the sunset. And then finally, we're going to do the arm with the whip, which starts with a V, a line up, and then three lines down, and if you want, you can connect them with like a triangle. And that's your arm with a whip. All right, I warned you the fish were coming. The fish are coming. The fish are coming. So this is your Nile perch, and this is your Nile perch. They can get quite large. So obviously, just like today, Nile perch were a big part of Egyptian life back in antiquity. So we're going to learn to draw a Nile perch. When you're translating this living animal into hieroglyphics, it looks like this. And like we just talked about with the owl, as this is an animal, you're going to want to learn to draw it both directions. But we're just going to do left to right today. And like a few of the other glyphs we recently learned, this is the ha sound. Not ha, but ha, like in the back of the throat. Really get that phlegm going. There's quite a few ha's. And this is also an example. R plus M, ram, is the word for fish. But you can see here the perch glyph is being used as the determinative to remind you you're looking at the word fish. So it's not pronounced ha in this case, it's just the determinative. So you'll see that sometimes glyphs that have sounds can also be used as determinatives. All right, that was just an example to show you what it looks like. Here's how to draw it. Starting with the tail as a curve, the bottom, and then bring it back up to the top. Draw that top sail, a line for the face, and the two bottom fins. Once again, start with the back, the bottom of the fish, bring up the top. You're going to do the top sail, or the top fin, cut off line for the fish's head in a circle for the eye, and the two bottom. One more time. The bottom, to the back, the bottom, then bring it up to the top fin or sail, separate for the head, dot, and two bottom fins. All right. Next up, we are going to do the two arms rowing, because continuing our aquatic theme, much like the fish, there was a lot of boating going on in ancient Egypt, and there's quite a lot of hieroglyph the paintings, the drawings, not just the letters, of people rowing. This is the hun, H-N sound, hun. I almost kind of think of it like the noise you make when you row. Hun, hun, hun. Okay, maybe you don't make that noise, but that's kind of how I remember it. We're going to start with what I call the Mexican hat. So you kind of make a three-pronged hat there. line down and up, line down and up, meet, straight down, and a triangle for the oar. All right, again, a sombrero, Mexican hat, or maybe a cowboy hat with 3 lines. Maybe it's a flower. Line down and up, straight down, and a triangle for the oar. One more time. Your Mexican hat or flower or cowboy hat, however you want to think of it. Diagonal line down and up, and straight down with a triangle for the oar. And those are your arms rowing. All right, last for this week, we are going to do the cow. And I'm sad to say we are not doing this cow. We are not doing a fully formed cow that is being milked or worshipped or otherwise involved in Egyptian life. We're going to do a headless cow. I know. This cow's like, what? Yeah. When you see a fully formed cow, it's a determinative, like that fish we saw. But when you see the headless cow, well, not quite like this, but you know, it's really hard to find drawings of headless cows on the internet, but I found this one. Anyway, the headless cow, well, yeah, this is a Photoshop version of a headless cow. It's going to make, I didn't want to show a bloody image. Can you blame me? What? I didn't want to show, like, you know, an actual cow with its head cut off. So we're looking at pretty pictures and Photoshopped images instead. You know, what? Again, can you blame me? Hun, again, a hun sound. So much like the rowing, this is a hun, or hun sound. And now the cow is going to be your first sort of 4-legged animal. So I'll show you how to do it. Neck first, upper back. Straight down, a bite. Straight down, back up, sky bird. Straight down, connect. Now your second leg, and your tail. And let me fix that. All right, one more time. We're going to start with the neck. Then we're going to go around for the back. We're going to go down, a bite out of it, straight down for the leg, sky bird for the underbelly, straight down for the second leg, and then leg number 3, leg number 4, and then a tail. Once again, starting with the neck, going around to the back, straight down with a bite out of it for the leg, sky bird for the bottom, down for the legs, and then a tail. And that is your headless cow. I know, we can all laugh. It's a headless cow. But hey, I didn't make this up. The Egyptians made it up. And what are you going to do? But learning the cow, much like learning some of the birds, you're going to see that basic shape repeated in other animals. So, speaking of other animals, next week, we've got another fish. Yes, I told you, we're just starting with our fishy fun in hieroglyphics. We've been through a lot of birds, not too many fish yet. So more fish are coming. And more humor is coming, too, because, you know, we're going to draw more headless animals. Okay, maybe not. Not too many. This, I think, is the only headless animal that we get to draw. But we are going to be doing more animals, which is why learning the cow is actually quite important, because the basic body structure, much like the body structure of the birds, is just slightly modified for other animals, like the rabbit and some others. So pay attention, keep practicing, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.